As an artist, pursuing perfection is a journey that intertwines emotion, vision, and technique. It means navigating the delicate balance between aspiration and reality, striving for an ideal that may often seem elusive. This quest invites deep reflection on one's creative process, urging artists to refine their skills, explore new mediums, and continually evolve their style. It often involves contemplating the nuances of color, form, and texture while grappling with self doubt and the internal critic among them. Ultimately, pursuing perfection can be both the source of inspiration and a barrier, shaping an artist's work and identity as they chase the fleeting notion of flawlessness in their craft. But before we dive any deeper, let me introduce myself and explain why I'm even talking about this in the first place. Hello, love buns. My name is Jihin. I apologize if this video feels a bit melancholic. It's somewhat poetic. However, it serves as more of an appetizer video than the main course video. This video is more of a video essay to document what's been happening to me over the past 2 years without posting an actual video. Well, now that we've set the tone, let's talk about what's been going on behind the scenes. I've been burnt out for over 2 years. Before you assume I'm just being lazy, let me clarify that burnout, according to Google, is a state of emotional and physical exhaustion caused by prolonged stress. If you're not aware or aren't following me on Instagram or Tumblr, or if you haven't seen my community post on YouTube, then you may not know that I'm currently swamped with numerous school projects and personal issues. Normally, I would handle this level of stress just fine. However, the combination of these pressures on top of my YouTube commitments and my overly ambitious projects has left me feeling overwhelmed. As a result, I've ended up abandoning each video project and even the smaller projects I attempted to create. This leads to something difficult to admit. The thing I love most, art, had started to feel like a burden. Most importantly, I realized a lot of my stress comes from creating the art that I should be enjoying, which is ridiculous. I should be having fun with my art. My current project is related to the Angels video, and I know many of you are looking forward to it. However, this very issue I'm talking about is the reason why the video is taking so long, other than character designing being hard. This burden doesn't just exist in a vacuum either. It's deeply tied to my unrealistic expectations and growing imposter syndrome. The reason I've been delaying the video and focusing on the art for it is I felt it wasn't meeting the standards I hold myself to. Frankly, considering my struggles in April, if you've seen the community post, you understand, my standards suddenly skyrocketed to an impossible degree. This has been an ongoing issue since last year. I've been dealing not only with burnout, but also with imposter syndrome. A friend of mine noticed this when I kept referring to my art as garbage. While it's not entirely accurate, I just have to finish it and make more tweaks, is what I told myself. This has become a common pattern for me. I wasn't satisfied with creating designs solely for the sake of improvement. I simply wanted to make designs, hoping they would be better than the last. Sure, now and then I would produce a design that I liked, but for every design I was proud of, there were four that I deemed subpar. It's frustrating because I don't enjoy creating what I consider trash. My art doesn't meet my standards, and it's not something I can truly be proud of. But here's the thing, it's not just about failed execution. Sometimes I can't even bring myself to begin. This isn't to say that every artist experiences burnout the way I do. As far as I'm aware, most burnout simply comes from being tired after drawing a lot. However, my situation is a bit different. I find myself freezing before I even start the project. I'm scared that if I try, it won't turn out the way I want. I'm afraid of having to make reiterations of the same design over and over because I despise wasting time. I prefer to complete things in one go and be done with it. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, school started. Let's just say I've been swamped with my thesis film. Alright, let's be real for a second. I feel a bit silly putting so much effort into dressing up. It's not that serious. I should be creating art for the sake of making art. Clearly, you haven't seen my circumstances. At this point, I started questioning everything. including my path, my choices, and how I could even sustain myself as an artist. Without getting too personal, I'm currently unable to improve my art the way that I wanted to. So in order to quote unquote force that improvement, I will spend the next few years building my online portfolio, trying to establish myself as an entrepreneur. Fortunately, I have a mother who's also an entrepreneur. But unfortunately, I'm quite broke. Initially, it all came from passion, but somewhere along the way, the goal started to shift. My goal was to inspire others with my work. However, when I discovered that I could also generate income from my creations, my focus shifted into selling my art and my artistic talents. There is a certain pride that comes from creating pieces for others, and I convinced myself that pursuing this path wasn't such a bad idea, but honestly, it turned out to be quite challenging. The turning point came when I mentioned my desire to sell my art to my parents. Their immediate response was to emphasize the importance of honing my skills, encouraging me to differentiate myself in a crowded marketplace. I understand their perspective. Being an artist means contending with countless others who may share a similar aesthetic. Yet this is where my internal struggle began to unravel. As I searched for ways to improve, I ended up losing myself in comparisons instead. I'm a fervent perfectionist. If you've watched my live streams in the past, you may have noticed my constant anxiety about producing anything less than perfect. This desire for excellence feeds into my imposter syndrome. In search of inspiration to elevate my work, I turned to the internet, looking at artists whose styles initially captivated me. Unfortunately, my mindset began to shift drastically. Instead of seeing these artists as a source of motivation, thoughts like, you could achieve that, why not give it a try? I spiraled into a negative comparison. I started thinking, why can't you create like that? You're not good enough. I held myself to an unrealistic standard, questioning who would even be interested in purchasing my art if I felt it was subpar. Eventually, all of this led to a complete standstill, where even inspiration couldn't pull me out. Drowning in this cycle of self doubt, I found myself trapped in a creative paralysis. Even when I stumbled upon inspiration, fear loomed large, rendering me unable to express my unique vision. Instead, I began to imitate what I saw, copying the inspiration rather than translating it into something original. It's an incredibly frustrating experience, feeling stifled and unable to unleash my true artistic voice. As much as I want to be like my inspirations, I often feel like I can't measure up to them. Ironically, I'm friends with some of these inspirations, which only makes my imposter syndrome worse. I feel like I don't belong among people like them. So if you're wondering why I'm sharing all of this now, this is the reason. It's this very mindset that traps me in a downward spiral. I have better things to do. I keep telling myself that I could be working right now, and I have been. I've worked nonstop for 2 years on my brand and my channel and my account. I didn't focus on anything else, and if I tried to, I felt immediately punished, shoved back into my little circle to do nothing but work. I'm tired. I can't even think about working on what I want because I feel like it has to be important, as if it must influence my channel, my Instagram, or my Tumblr. Everything I create needs to boost my presence and be beneficial. The reason I'm discussing my experience with burnout and imposter syndrome in this video is that I don't want other artists to fall into the same spiral I did. No one was there for me when I was spiraling into literal breakdowns. While my friends and my sister offered support, no one seemed to be able to say the right words to help me. Even now, I'm still stuck in this mindset where I can't work until everything is good enough. However, I feel like there is a simple solution, which is ironic considering I've been overthinking it. After everything I've gone through, here's what I wish someone had told me sooner. The solution to this problem is to just put yourself out there. No matter how scary it may be for others to see unfinished products that don't meet your standards, the more you put yourself out there, the more others can see your work. And that's something I hope resonates with other artists as well. You can't be seen if you don't take the step into the limelight, and I had to learn this the hard way because I was too scared to say anything for 2 years. during which time I didn't grow at all. And that brings us full circle to the question I asked at the very beginning. What does it mean for you as an artist to pursue perfection? Is it the journey toward finding the perfect art style? Is it studying anatomy to make impossible poses seem natural? Is it the beauty in imitating reality or stylizing it to the point of abstraction? Even though art is subjective, beauty is objective, and the definition of perfection varies from person to person. However, the concept exists nonetheless, so that means perfection is worth pursuing, right? Well, no. I believe that's what makes us artists is our imperfections. That's something I wish I had learned earlier. Something I wish I had understood 2 years before my burnout. It's a lesson I want to apply now. From now on, I will try to post as much as I can, even if my work isn't perfect or doesn't meet my standards. I just hope it's enough to entertain you all and bring you happiness because that is my goal. Thank you all so much for listening to my aimless rambling. This video is a bit more personal because it reflects my experiences over the past 2 years. I appreciate you sticking with me until the end. An artist's worst nightmare is often themselves, and I hope this video resonates with other artists or informs viewers about the realities of experiencing burnout as an artist. Art is not easy, and building a career in this field can be challenging. I want to give a big thank you to my community for being incredibly patient with me and to all my friends who supported me throughout this year of burnout. I literally cried trying to make the voiceover for this because, oh my goodness, there's so much emotion in my voice. I don't think I can take it. Um, on that note, if you'd like to support me further or financially, feel free to check out my platform for commissions and Ko-Fi for memberships. I'm currently setting up my memberships if you are willing to be patient with that. But so far, my commissions are open on both Ko-Fi and VGen. With that, I'll take my leave. I promise that an actual video will be coming out soon, though this video is more of an intention than a guarantee. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and remember, you will always find love in the world.